So today we're going to be talking about the ultimate lead window replacement lead generation funnel, right? Um, let's make that a bit more um, exact, right? Okay, so today we're going to be talking about the ultimate window replacement lead generation funnel. This so basically this is what we install for our clients, right? Our partners that want replacement leads. And we know this actually gives us the best quality, the best um, trade-off between quality and volume, right? And we do this every day, all day, every day, and then we're able to generate leads with for our clients. So my name is Temi. I'm with Lead Phoenix AI, and I've generated over 1,000 leads in the last month or so for our partners. And so this is the funnel that we use, across the board, depending on whatever niche we're using. And this funnel is actually, I mean, again, let's just walk through it and then we'll see how you see how it works. Like I'm I'm biased, obviously, because in the end, it's something that we created in our company. But when I show you, then you can actually see, the value behind it. So basically, what we do is first of all we get our leads from social media, so either YouTube or Meta, right? So Facebook, Instagram, right? So that's where we start from. We see YouTube actually gives us a bit higher quality, but obviously more expensive. But in the end, what we want is quality, right? So Meta gives us volume, but then we can use what I'm going to show you later how we can filter, from the junk and then actually end up with actual high quality leads just like YouTube as well too, right? So all leads end up on the landing page. They go to a landing page with a quiz. So that quiz, probably in another video I'll show you what the quiz looks like, but we are basically asking qualification questions. So things like it's called the BNT, right? So budget needs timeline, right? So first of all, we start with their needs, like how many windows do they want to replace? What are the problems behind why they want to replace? Is it high energy bills? Is it damaged windows? Is it hurricane impact? So we ask those questions, right? And then they answer, and then so that's for the needs. Then the budget is actually, so basically we ask how many windows they need replacing, or we can actually ask what have you do you have in mind? What kind of budget do you have in mind? For this, right? And then the timeline is also like, when would you like to start? So then we know people that are ready to start in the next couple of months are more qualified than people that are ready to start in 2 years from now, if that makes sense, right? So then we put them into the lead pool, and then so we do two things, right? So first of all, um, the quickest path is obviously we check the answers, right? And if they're qualified, right, we send them to our client, right? So we basically API into their CRM or to their dialer, send them immediately. Or we can actually create a CRM for some of our clients that actually don't have the dialer or the CRM. But most of our clients do have their sales process going on, and then we just shoot them straight in there, right? And then we give them a notification as well too. If they're not qualified, we send them to like a nurture sequence. You'll see how that works in a sec, right? Okay, so again, this is where most people end. This is where most people stop. But in our company, we are so crazy on education. We are so crazy on educating our leads and making sure that the clients get the best value out of these leads, right? Because as I always say, an educated buyer is a better buyer any day, right? So what we are doing right now is letting our clients know, or letting the leads know on behalf of our clients, why they should choose us, right? And how we do that is through education, through trust and authority. So what we're going to start with is we're going to send them into like a lead nurture sequence. So the first one is via email, right? So we do that via email. So we send a lead intro and a link to like maybe a booking page so they can actually book appointments, right? And then we put them into like a new lead stage. And then we wait 1 hour, and then we send a reminder if they haven't booked an appointment. But we don't just send like a basic reminder. Now, people always send emails. Oh yeah, I see you signed up. Do you want to book an appointment? I see you signed up. Do you want to book an appointment? But what we do is pair that with what we call a value dense email. right? And maybe I should actually explain to you what the value dense email is. So first, so as I was saying, we make sure that in our company we actually educate the client. We're like, we go crazy about this. So what we do is we create like a series of 20 to 30 value dense pieces of content, right? And how do we know what is value? Basically, what does the client needs to, I mean, what does the client need to know to be able to make a better decision in choosing who is the best window replacement company to go with, right? So we have all this kind of ideas, right? So what kind of windows would be a good idea, right, for your home? If you have an $8,000 quote versus a $15,000 quote, what goes into these two different quotes, right? Explain what low E glass is. Give testimonials, like so. Basically, we get testimonials from our clients of jobs that they've completed, and then we use that videos, emails. We use that in our educational content, like so who pulls the permits, best frames to choose, right? So basically, we just kind of explain. And then I like this one that says why cheap windows cost more, right? So you could get someone that's gonna tell you to install windows for you for cheaper, but how much is that going to cost you on the long run, right? So this is how we're flipping a price shopper into like a value buyer, right? And then this one is also really good, like a Palm Beach home before and after. So obviously, if you're working with a client in South Florida, so we um get testimonials from them, right? And then so we kind of obviously would change that title, right? Depending on what location we're dealing with, right? So when we get a testimonial before and after, we can make a video out of it, even if it's just pictures that you have, right? We can make a video out of it and then send that to the client as well. So they're actually seeing people at work. They're actually seeing completed jobs, right? So they know that we're not just like some fly by night person, not being able to, do any work. So we convert this into multiple viewing, multiple modalities, right? So we create videos, we create emails, so it's text based, we create blog posts. So there's this huge web of content that is actually helping to build trust and authority, right? And how does that help, right? That helps because by the time um, the client starts calling, right? They are being sent all this information. I'm going to show you how we send this information. So by the time the client calls, they're like so better warmed up. They know who's calling. They actually expect the call or look forward to the call. They're like, oh yeah, I've seen your videos online, right? So that's how we're able to do this, right? To get really high quality clients or high quality window replacement leads, right? Okay, so back to this. So let me just quickly walk through this now, right? So we send emails. So we wait 1 hour. Then after 1 day, we send the second validate email. Wait another day, we send the third one. Wait another day, we send the fourth one. We see upwards of 50% open rates on these emails. Why? Because we're not nagging them. We're actually giving them value. I mean, people actually want to read these emails. That's the difference when you flip the script between just wanting to sell or giving value, right? And then we keep going until maybe like day 5, or sometimes we do day 7, because remember we had like 18 emails in there. And then at the end, if they don't respond, right, we send them into what we call the forever follow up. They might not be ready right now in 1 week or 2 weeks, but if we keep on following up with them every day for the next, in the end, basically forever, right? So we have an AI automation that actually generates emails once a week, twice a week, and sends to them, right? Obviously, they can unsubscribe, right? We get very low spam complaints, but this is how we're able to keep people in the loop, right, for a long time. So that's the first step with the emails. Then the second step is what we also call the AI qualification, right? So some people might actually, fail the quiz. Maybe they don't finish, but we still have their contact details, right? So what we have is like an AI agent that actually goes in there and sends an email, or like sorry, an SMS, a text. Hello, are you still interested in buying Windows? Right? Waits 4 minutes. I mean, if there's no response, kind of pings them again, right? But if there is a response, then we now have our AI agent kick in, and then it's just basically having a chat. So you should see probably in another video, I'm going to show you what the chat looks like. So they go back and forth. So the same questions that we're asking on the quiz page, right? The budget, needs, timeline. So we ask that in a more human, engaging way, right? So That keeps on going, and the AI knows, okay, when they are qualified. So immediately they are qualified, right? That they basically meet the budget requirements. They want Windows replaced, and they're willing to start relatively soon. We fire that straight off to our client as well, right? And if they are not, then we send them to the nurture. So we have multiple touch points that we are going in with this lead, right? So we've got emails, we've got the SMS, right? There's one more, right? So here, if they don't actually respond to that text, then we can actually have an AI dialer, actually give them a call, and we follow up for 5 days, right? So this is optional. We don't do this all the time because in the end, most of our clients actually have a well dialed in sales process with their dialer. So we don't implement this every time, right? Okay. So then there's next step. There's what we call the lead nurture and education flow. So if you notice, we already have the client's details, right? So the ones that have actually signed up as a lead. So we follow up with them with emails and texts. But there are thousands of people that have actually seen the ad but haven't signed up yet, right? So what we do is we do a huge retargeting flow, right? So we mostly run videos because we don't see basic text and images as a high quality leads, right? But if people watch a lot of our videos, so basically we kind of track, right? So we track if they watch 25% of the video, right? Or 50%, 75%. But the ones that watch 95% and above, sometimes we include the 75 percenters as well too, right? But we can easily find between people that actually came to the page and the people that viewed 95% of the people, we probably can have like a 2,000 people audience, right? So what we do is we just hammer them with a retargeting campaign, right? So propaganda content, right? So basically multiple videos, right? And all these videos, where are we getting the information from? Is basically the value dense content, but now in video form, right? So imagine them getting, testimonials, information about, why cheap windows cost more, low E glass, right? So they're getting lots of, so basic, if you interact with one ad, most people see one ad from a company and then that's it, one and done. If they don't get the lead, you know, they let it go. But then what we do is once they interact with the ad, they come into our world, so to say. So they're seeing two, three, four, 5 videos from us every single day, right? So, but then it's not actually that expensive. You would think this will increase the lead price. Yes, the leads will cost a bit more, but in the end, the goal is quality leads, right? But quality leads at a good price, right? But then to be able to reach 2,000 people, I mean, with CPMs at maybe like $100, $200, we should be able to reach 2,000 people with about, right, $20, $30, right, per day. And then we just basically hammer them with that, what we call the propaganda content, right? This is how we call ethical propaganda, right? So again, that's where we've talked about the lead qualification and the lead nurture. And then we also have the opportunity to also reduce cancellation rates, right? So if people actually book a demo, right? For our clients, sometimes we can actually help them install an automation where we kind of reduce the cancellation rates or the no-show rates, right? So when you book like an opportunity to go to their home and do some measurements, right? So before days before, we need to kind of remind them about the value. We can't just show up on that day and think, okay, you know what, they're gonna want to see us, right? So we actually have another sequence that reminds them of the value that we're bringing, right? So we have a booked call email sequence, right? So we remove them from the initial new lead sequence. So we wait 2 hours, we send videos how we work, So you kind of send video saying, okay, this is what we're gonna do when we get to your home. Obviously, we work with our partners to um, give the content in this video as well. To wait another day, send more testimonials. Wait another day, we send more emails, validate emails, send an email until the day of the appointment, right? So they're actually looking forward to having the client in their home, right? um and then also we also have like add them to the workflow reminders, right? So thank you when they book, give them a booking confirmation email. You send them an email with rescheduling options because yeah, again, life happens, people might want to reschedule, right? So 24 hours before the appointment, we send them the 24-hour confirmation and then send them to like another video give them an SMS reminder, and then 1 hour before the appointment, if the client is on the way, we send them like a 24-hour meeting as well too, and an SMS reminder, right? So this we can implement optionally as well too, right? Again, if there are no show, like if they don't, if they cancel the appointment, then we can also have another flow as well too, to kind of re-engage them, book for another day as well too, right? So let them know what they're missing. So as you can see, this funnel is responsible for thousands and thousands of quality leads, right? Um, it's very easy to copy. I mean, you can see this, right? All this in a CRM that has automation is relatively straightforward to implement, right? So hope you like the video. If you really want us to help, if you really need help and think that, okay, yeah, you know what, you probably want someone to help you implement this. So what we do is we also implement lead generation and the funnels for our clients. Look in the description, you'll find a link there. Book a call, and we'll have to talk to you. But for now, yeah, copy this and then go crush it. All right, talk soon.